everyone, it's Maureen. I promised I would have a video for you showing the second in our doll series. So we have over here a 1520s French ensemble, so with French hood, and I actually got some time to create the jewelry as well. So we happen to have a girdle belt, and then we have a double strand necklace. In this case, I just have it wrapped around twice, and I'm trying to see if I can show you. You can see them a little bit there. So we have gray, pink, and black pearls, and then in between there's some sequins. Those actually happen to be star-shaped sequins. My hand's shaking a little bit. So I made that not just for Luna here, who represents the moon in our celestial series. We have gray and kind of like a lavender or silver, white colors, white and black colors in this particular ensemble. I also made the same girdle, belt, and necklace for Aurora, who happens to be our representative of the sun in this particular series as well. So made exactly the same way. You can kind of see the stars a bit better here with this particular one. They both have a linen shift underneath, the underskirt, as well as a fitted kirtle. Both actually have a fitted kirtle of the same kind of cloth as the interior skirt. So this goes all the way up and has a bodice underneath it. Same situation for here. We have this beautiful lavender, pretty much periwinkle-like color, and that goes all the way up and has a bodice underneath as well. So it's fully its own full supportive layer, just like what one would wear as a woman in the 1520s. So Aurora over here would be more the 1520s English during the Henrician period, so Henry VIII. So she has her English hood, which has that, iconic geometric shape with trim and all of that decoration, versus the French have the rounded style, which is actually also seen in Flanders during this time as well, where they wear a French style hood. And there would be some differences a little bit regionally with the hoods as well. To make sure that it worked with these dolls, and they did feature some different hairstyles than what was worn in period, I did use a chin strap method to make sure that these hats stayed on the dolls' heads. So that's why you're seeing some threads there connecting the hats. So when I created these dolls, it made me think of the Cluny tapestries in France with these beautiful, wonderful dresses and layers. And I said to myself, these ladies need some beautiful unicorns. Now, I certainly could have made a stuffed animal unicorn to go with these ladies, but I didn't really want to dedicate that kind of time. And I can sculpt, but it's not to the level that I would like it to be at this point in time. So I actually bought 2 custom unicorns, and these are from a company called Gift of Mercury, which are out of Russia. So there's 30 artisans that are employed by this company that make custom stuffed animals that are shipped all over the world. You can opt to have them customized, or you can have them created as the original images on their website, which is giftofmercury.com. This video is not sponsored, but I wanted to share some just really cool artisan work, because not only do I do work for my own enjoyment, I don't mind supporting other artisans that are doing, beautiful work themselves. So this particular one I ordered actually second. I wanted a traditional looking unicorn, which is what we have over here, which I sent them a picture of the unicorn tapestry and said I would, you know, like a unicorn beast that would look like this. And so they went ahead and did that with the silver features, and she looks beautiful. I mean, those are custom painted glass eyes. I mean, they really go all out. They used silver leaf on the horn and on the ears and on some of these other accents. They really just went all out. I couldn't really ask for a much better kind of little beastie here. Let's see if we can pull out. There we go. Just so you can see the whole look here. So that's a wired tail with a floof. The only thing we're really kind of missing is sort of like a tuffy under the chin. But to be honest with you, when we're talking about medieval unicorns, they are sort of meant more to look like a goat than they are a horse. And I think that this was a really great combination, really, because we do have cloven hooves here. So they're not horse hooves, you know, they're split like a goat has split hoof, and other certain animals have split hooves. They are fully posable, so there is a little skeleton underneath here, underneath the stuffing and the fur. You'll sometimes, if I move our little friend around or pose our little friend, you might hear a little clicking like that. That clicking is the interior skeleton adjusting. See, you can hear it. So that is unicorn friend number 1. Okay. And this is unicorn friend number 2. So in this one, very similar sort of techniques were employed. We have the cloven hooves, yet again, you know, painted in black, and then using gold leaf for some of the accents. But instead of just the regular fur up the neck, this time around they had suggested trying some sequins. And I said, you know what, that would be a nice different touch. It'll make this unicorn look different than its sibling. So that's what I did. So we have this nice, it's two-sided, so I mean technically there's white on one side and gold on the other. We kind of have like silvery eyes. They do such an amazing job with the eyes in that case. And then they did gold leaf on the horn and on the hair, because they did silver leaf over here. So, and they did it on the ears. So same sort of accents with the gold leaf, and I think it elevates the look in an entirely different way with our friend here as compared to if they had just used the metallic paint. And the paint has a certain amount of shine to it, but the gold leaf really just takes it to the next level. And this is just an idea of what you could order from Gift of Mercury. You could customize your chosen beastie a couple different ways. They have several different levels. This was the basic level of customization. So I just picked the color, and I picked like the accent color. The team showed me or gave a listing of the fur number, so I could go on the Gift of Mercury Instagram page and look at the fur texture, and then you know, gave me the number for what the sequins would have been, so I could kind of look at all of them and determine, okay, is this the color and texture I'm looking for or no. And I mean, they just turned out so beautiful. So our gold friend hangs out with our sunshine Aurora in this case. think of them sort of like eclipses. And then because we have a darker color here with Luna's clothing, I have our, you know, very light colored unicorn hanging out with her with the silver accents. But there's silver and gold sort of with either doll, mainly more gold with her, you know, mainly silver with the other. But the idea is that I could sort of move the dolls around, sort of do a couple of the poses from the unicorn tapestries, or, you know, have the unicorns pretending to be asleep in their laps, or something like this that would be, you know, beautifully medieval that you would see on these tapestries. So I'm very pleased with the friends that I have purchased for my other friends. And I'm really just happy with the way that they turned out, and that I was able to do the layers the appropriate way. You know, now Aurora has all of the fur lining all the way up. And then she only has it as an edging, more so, because it was more of a fur trim, and this trim happened to be on clearance, so it wasn't like I was going to get the full amount of yardage, kind of like what I did for Aurora's gown. So we just did fur edging here, but still creates a great effect, looks beautiful. Yet again, both dolls use faux fur, so no animals were harmed in the creation of the dolls. That's faux fur for also the gift of Mercury items, so of course no real animals were harmed with creating these stuffed custom animal pieces. So that completes this series of dolls, sort of based on the celestial bodies in the heavens. And of course, you know, we have all of our other doll friends over here that are still doing what they do, hanging out and being awesome. I'm hoping I can take them to one of my next SCA related events, but we'll see how that goes. This is my Halloween costume, so I am going as a Ravenclaw. I bought the Hogwarts robe from Target. They're doing general Hogwarts, so it has the embroidered emblem, but they have a gold lining on the hood. I mean, I could change this out. Everything was sort of overlocked, and I didn't really like the way it looked, and I was worried it was going to snag, so I took some. This is what overlocking looks like right here. You'll see that on a lot of the inside of your clothing. So I took some thin bias tape and went all the way around the edge just to give it a little bit more support. And that's actually what you're seeing over here. I have to go through and stitch this down yet. I mean, I could machine it. I'm probably going to hand sew the sleeves because these are harder to go through on the machine. And I have a Ravenclaw sweater, and then the shirt and the tie. I had to, this was all wrinkly, I had to actually take my fabric steamer to it to actually make it look a little better. It's not perfect, but it'll do for the day. So I have a Halloween party I'm going to this particular weekend. But I wanted to show you something else, which was these friends. So our kitty cat, we have a kitty cat friend known as a Catchy friend. They are shoulder puppets. So their heads move back and forth and up and down. We have our griffin friend over here, and we have a unicorn friend. These are called wood babies. I actually had a larger collection of these maybe about a decade ago, and I had to sell them, unfortunately. for financial reasons, which is not at all nice. But besides getting back to the gift of Mercury, our little kitty cat friend up there is called a Peacock, which actually has real peacock feathers and such, hanging out with my Folkmanis peacock puppets. So safely away from my real felines who would try to sniff and chew those feathers. Luckily, they have been sniffing the unicorns, but it's faux fur, and they get uninterested eventually. But our unicorn friend here has real fur, so I have to be careful with my feline kitties. They like to chew real fur. If I'd have any kind of rabbit fur or anything where they could get it, it'd probably get ripped apart. So, because also feathers, same thing. Their cat toys sometimes will have fur and feathers on them and they rip them apart. So that's, you know, something that you do have to take into consideration when you're ordering from companies like Gift of Mercury or the Wood Babies or from Midsummer Night's Dream. You do want to keep these away from your pets and animals just because you don't want them to get pulled apart, because your animals are probably going to get a little jealous of your new puppety friend or stuffed animal friend. So I have those three, and I want to show you another one. And that's this one. Sitting on my Ravenclaw scarf is our friend over here. I have not come up with a name for our friend at this point, but this is the adult size. The other ones you were seeing over there are considered baby size. They're smaller. This is also a shoulder puppet. So there's a magnetic system underneath that allows you to put a metal plate underneath your shirt, and the magnets grab onto that. So that prevents the puppet might try to slide around if not perfectly balanced. They are jointed also, like you can move the legs and move the front appendages for comfort and such of this nature, but they do, since I had these in the past, I guess you could say, they were a bit heavy, and especially these bigger ones. So you had to make sure that they were well balanced and secure, or they would try to fall off your shoulder. And having broad shoulders to wear a shoulder puppet is kind of a helpful thing too. The smaller ones work better with children and smaller adults. So I am taking the Dragony friend with me for Halloween as well. So when I saw this one the first time, it made me think of Jareth, you know, the Goblin King from Labyrinth, because we've got glittery wings, we've got spiky hair, but I'm not sure if that name is completely suitable. But I just love the detail. It looks like Midsummer Night's Dream started using computer technology to actually enhance the sculpts. So what you were seeing over on the other side, and I'll take you back over there so you can take a look. You know, these were hand sculpted. And they look really good. I mean, you even had some like scaly detail here on the griffin's claws and things of this nature. But when you compare that to our friend over here, look, and it's amazing what computer technology can do to enhance. Because I mean, we have, look at that detail. And that's textures that could be added on the computer program. The horns, same thing. Because all of that is smooth on the original sculpts, because they were all done by hand, as compared to all these textures could be layered on for printing with the computer. I mean, look at that. That's just beautiful. Because if you did that all by hand, it would take hours and hours and hours. So, glittery wings. But, you know, just same thing with the feet over here. The back appendages, just lots of wonderful detail for our friend here. So much so that my camera is like, I can't handle it. It's too much texture. Anyway, so a little bit of Halloween plans. I showed you my most recent doll project and their unicorn companions. I don't have any current projects I'm doing other than finishing up the robe. I have projects that could be started. I haven't gotten there as of yet. So I'm hoping everybody is having a fantastic autumn. It is spooky season, which is my favorite kind of time of year, if you haven't already noticed, because we have little spooky things around here on a regular basis. I don't know if she's going to sit up. She doesn't seem to want to sit up. There we go. So, nope, we don't want to sit up apparently. Oh well. But yes, this is a makeover of a traditional porcelain doll that I had done from a few years ago. And I made her into a witch because why not? So, a nature witch. And then I have all of my fairies. And there's more of them over here, which these are actually Folkmanis finger puppets. These are not been reproduced, so there's about 8 different kinds. They're all different sort of, there's like sugar plum fairies, and there's a Christmas fairy, which is this one. I think she's the sugar plum. We have a spring fairy. So there's a few different ones that you can get, but it's, you know, sort of catch as catch can because they haven't remade them that I'm aware of. But I love Folkmanis puppets. If you're looking for a soft fabric like puppet, they're great brand. Not sponsored, but just a fan of their work. But I believe that is what all that I'm really doing. I think her friend's leaning here a little bit. There we go. But that's all that I really had for you for this month. And if you liked this content, please consider liking and subscribing. I upload once a month, and we have some whimsical fun here. And I will talk to you in my next video.